Well, as we all know, the holidays are a time for celebrating and ringing in the new year. But for those living with dementia, it can really be challenging, but we can all help. To give us some tips to reduce stress, I am so delighted to welcome Brenda Roberts, Executive Director of the National Council of Dementia Minds. Hi, Brenda, how are you?
Hello, I'm great, and thank you for having me. And I wish everyone a happy holiday and looking forward to a new year. And I'm glad to
Yes,
be here to share some tips.
I am so delighted you're here. Happy holidays, Brenda.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
if we're planning to entertain and we know that a guest is living with dementia, how do you greet them and their caretaker? That's pretty important to set the tone, is that right?
Yeah, right off the bat, people living with dementia say, "Don't test me. Don't give me a memory test. Like, hi, Grandma, who am I?" Right?
Okay.
Instead, come up and say, "Hi, Mom," or "Hi, Aunt Brenda. I'm Andy from North Carolina. We just came in." So, giving them some clues ahead of time so that they don't feel under pressure like it's a quiz.
Oh,
And
great.
then and then the other part is lots of times
Yeah.
what I hear from people living with dementia, they'll be standing right there. And my husband's living with dementia, so we've had this experience too. He can be standing right there and people can say to me, "So, how is Mark
Oh,
doing?"
wow. Yeah, that's
You know,
okay. That's important to note.
right?
Definitely. Brenda, are there any things, some things that we can do with the seating arrangements and to create a certain ambiance in the party?
Yes. Yes. So seating arrangements and sort of the ambiance kind of thing too. So the seating arrangement, what people don't realize, when they think dementia, I think they think memory, and they don't
Yes.
think about sensory changes that people living with dementia experience,
Oh,
which can result in overstimulation. So if you're having a party and you have a big table, say you have a long table,
right.
it's really usually best to set the person maybe at the corner of the table so that they only have that edge of the conversation to try to keep track of and engage in, versus in the middle of the table
Yeah.
where there's a conversation over here and a conversation over there.
Now, if we're in a conversation, Brenda, there are ways to make patients more comfortable, those living with dementia, and it starts with not correcting them. Is that right?
Oh, yes. Don't correct. But for example, I tell my nieces and nephews, like, the kids sold their car, and Mark, my husband's telling them, "Oh, the kids sold their car for $100,000." Well, you don't need to correct him on the amount. He's trying to just tell you is they got a great deal on selling their car. Let them tell the story and go with it and just pull out the important points.
That's perfect for a lot of us. Just let people enjoy
Right.
telling their story, that's for sure. Now,
Exactly.
Yeah, Brenda, food is also challenging sometimes, buffet versus like a sit-down dinner. What do you recommend?
There are so many things in relationship to food. I mean, there can even be the place settings can even be overwhelming if you go
Oh,
to a really fancy place where, I don't know if I'd know what fork to use, right? The other part would be, again, going to the overstimulation. The overstimulation, just visiting. I just want to visit. And so if I can't eat and visit, don't worry about my food. So, like, a good tip is maybe make sure your person ate before the party.
okay,
And then when they're there, if they just want to visit,
right.
then they can visit. But if they can handle visiting and eating, that's fine. But multitasking is really hard for people living with dementia.
Just let them be comfortable. Yeah. You know what, Brenda? Any last minute tips or advice that you have to kind of make the holiday gathering festive and fun for everyone?
You know, you, Colette, really said a good thing.
Yeah.
It's really things that it just really good manners and kind of customer service, if you think of that way
Right.
too. Just include the person, give them process to time, to time to process the conversation, include them,
Yes.
don't exclude them. But probably the number, maybe I have two takeaways that are really important. And one is, I like to share with people in advance the changes. And then that way they're not so nervous. And then the other is to have a getaway plan. So if it gets too overstimulating,
Yes.
have a nice room where the person can go in and be quiet and decompress.
That
So,
I love
yeah,
that, Brenda, that you're saying make sure the person living with dementia feels loved, supported, and also caretakers who are doing so much and loving and caring, are so selfless. Make sure they get lots of hugs and lots of kisses and let them know that they are supported. Thank Brenda, you are so wonderful, and I appreciate you with these valuable tips today. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday to you too. Happy New Year.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you have any ideas on what you would like to see on our show, you can send them to us at WNEM-4pmnews@WNEM.com. Just use the subject 4 p.m. News Spotlight.